There you go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Gaming Pubcast. I am Martin, and got my fellow host here, Duncan. Episode number 2. Who would have thought it?
Yay!
Yay!
We're not a wonder.
I know. Who would have thought we would have made it to doubled our amount of podcasts in just a week's time? And we've had quite a bit of a technological advance since last week, haven't we? We got a
yes. Well, hopefully with the edit there'll be some extra audio at the beginning and end as well.
So we can have a
tune. I have a microphone.
You have a microphone. We've also got a streaming service that allow us to go on for longer than 40 minutes, unlike last week where we had to cut off and do it again. So we've made some big changes for episode number 2. So hopefully it will be
fingers crossed,
just an enjoyable experience for our 20 plus viewers who listened to our last podcast. So and if anything, get better. Will only improve. But since last week, Duncan, how have you been?
All good. What have we doing in terms of gaming? I haven't played anything new this week, really. Obviously, Pixel I played last week, so I did try. There's a new game on Game Pass called Common Hood, and I think it's like I didn't really get that far into it. It was a collect a load of materials and build things and whatnot. So it's a survival homeless simulator kind of thing. But it was generally, it felt like it was not designed for controllers. They just shoehorned the controls in at the last minute. So
like a PC
it didn't
game?
last very long. Like a what?
Is it a PC game? Is it or like?
I think it's probably on PC as well, but I played it on Xbox, and yes, it was not very good. I personally didn't enjoy it. I think it's a low budget game with and I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a story mode out of a sort of almost survival game, and it wasn't really for me. Wasn't really.
I won't be purchasing an Xbox just to get that game. Then Duncan, from your review, myself, I've had quite a busy week work-wise, so it has been difficult to play games. Though Saturday night, I did have a games night, so I had a couple of friends come over, and we did the WiiU. We went on,
nice,
and that we played. What games were it? So we played a game called Rumbo, which for those who are unaware of Rumbo, which will probably be majority of people listening to this,
is that the one with the bongos? No, that was an actual bongo game.
No. I think I know what one that might be. That the drumming game. I think you may be thinking of.
Yeah, there's some game that came with the bongos, and you had to. There was lots of mini games with bongos.
Not the Donkey Kong one.
I can't remember. It was definitely a Nintendo thing.
Yeah, there was a Donkey Kong that was on the Wii, and that came with bongos. No, this game called Rumbo. So it's cost me about £2 from the eShop before they closed it down. So I don't know if it is on any other console, because if it is only on Wii U, then there's no way of ever playing that game unless you've got it already on your. But it's a game where you.
Are you still able to download games from the eShop? No, not even allowed to
it's
download.
Just closed down completely now. So you can buy obviously physical copies of games, but anything which was download only on there is unavailable for everyone. But yeah, so it was like a racing game, but you weren't in cars, you were characters, so you're racing on feet, and the screen changes color, and then depending on what color the screen is, so it's like you're jumping over platforms.
Rumbo. I thought you said rumba as in like the dance.
No, Rumbo.
No, I have Rumbo. Yes, the platforms disappear, don't they? Depending on what color the screen is.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're there, and then you're about to jump on a green platform. The screen goes green, that disappears, and you fall to your death. So you lose the race. And then so yeah, I played that game. That was and then what we went on to was Pikmin 3. After that, which I've never played Pikmin until Saturday, even though I've had it on my console for the past year or so, just never got around to playing it.
Is it co-op then, Pikmin 3?
Yeah, well, it is co-op according to the game, but because I'd never played it, we had to go through some one-player stuff. We lost a bit of patience on it because we kept having to wait in turns for each other to play, so we didn't give it much time. I think we played it for about half an hour, and then we decided to move on and play Super Mario 3D World, which is free-player co-op.
Oh, nice.
Which I think is underappreciated Mario game, in my opinion. I mean, I think they're all.
Well, speaking of Mario, I have actually completed 2 Mario games this week. How I forgot about that, but yes, Game Boy, Super Mario Land 1 and 2. I remember having them when they came out on the Game Boy, because I am that old. But I remember them taking weeks and weeks and weeks of playing constantly to finish, and yeah, I completed them both this week.
Wow.
So either I'm much better now, or some other reason, I don't know. But yes, literally, Super Mario Land 1 took me I don't know, a couple of hours and 3 hours, and I've done it.
I think there's the first proper Mario I can remember. I mean, I played the ones on the SNES and stuff like that, but the first one I properly remember playing was Super Mario 64, which, in my opinion, is still the best Mario game.
It is definitely most people, well, a lot of people's favourite.
And that took months to complete. I got that on my Wii.
Do you mean complete as in the story, but you can get all the stars, can't you? I've never completed it,
just
so
the story. So I think how many stars? I think it's 120. I think it's the amount of stars. Might be wrong because it has been years since I played it proper. But yeah, that Super Mario would see there's loads of stuff on there, but with the penguin, you got to get back to the mum. Most people throw the penguin off the cliff because
yes, what is it?
It's a baby
to its death. I don't. Or is that the mum?
You can go and find it. Yeah, you can go and find it. But basically, you hold the penguin, and to get the star, you got to get the baby penguin to its mum. But it's you're on ice, so you can slide off and stuff like that. But yeah, that side of people where okay, there's constant crying penguins going off the cliff. So yeah, that's my personal favorite Mario game. Not just because of that.
There's some of the the 3D platformers that have come out before, especially N64 for them Rare. I remember because obviously the Rare replays on Xbox, I've got that, and I tried playing Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah,
and just the sound of that little, most of the characters in it, I had to turn it off after I played for about an hour. I just couldn't stand it anymore. If they got rid of that sound, I probably would have played it a lot more. I was enjoying the platforming, but just that I hated it.
I mean,
so it was just the sound, but that was it.
But other than that, you'd say it was an alright game, Banjo. Because then there was Banjo Tooie, wasn't there as well? I don't know if that was on.
Yes, I've got that, but because of not enjoying the Banjo-Kazooie because of the sound, I didn't try the Banjo Tooie. So I never really completed many of the 3D platformers growing up, like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, all those kind of things, because I had a PlayStation 1. And never really completed them.
They are difficult, aren't they? I mean,
the last few levels, yes.
Seriously difficult. I mean, the newest Crash Bandicoot, I don't know if you played that one, About Time.
Yes.
I mean, I had Sekiro at the same time, which was from Software, and I couldn't differentiate between which was harder. No, everyone going on about
you really like to punish yourself, don't you?
I was like, well, try and play Crash Bandicoot. I think I'll go and play. I'll play Secure, and I'll be like, well, I'll go play Crash Bandicoot for a bit of light relief, and then that would be even more difficult. So I was just like, I need to find some easier games. But yeah,
I don't own the newest Crash Bandicoot, but I did try it, and it was astounding how even some of the earlier levels were quite difficult.
Yeah, I was dying.
Yeah,
I mean, there's got like, because obviously not just completing the game and you get your diamonds or crystals or whatever in terms of like the time scales or time runs and whatnot, and there's one where just completing the level without dying is something where you get an award for it, which just shows how difficult the game is. We did actually and I'll finish off on what I did on Saturday night, but we did complete Super Mario. Didn't do the whole start to finish with my friends, because that would have been hours upon hours, because it is a quite large game. I had already done, because we were on the 10th world at this point, so we had our final. They helped me with the last few, and it was the last one was where Bowser turns into a massive cat and he chases you up a building, and then you get to the top of a building and you blow him up. So just a spoiler alert there for anyone who hasn't played Super Mario 3D World. But if you haven't,
I just ruined it now.
I know. Well, sorry, Duncan. You and many millions of viewers are going to be very disappointed now. But it is on the Switch as well. So if you don't have a WiiU, which I think there's only me and about 100 other worldwide.
Yeah, you can play up to 4-player, can't you?
It is, up to 4-player. So
I think it's up to 4-player, and also with the Wii U, you can have it where somebody can add platforms or something, can't you? With the pad.
Not on Super Mario 3D World. There is Super Mario Maker on the Wii U, so it might be that.
So I remember seeing a video one time where, rather than helping their colleagues, somebody was just literally just blocking them from jumping. Completely ruining the experience on purpose.
We all had the Wii remote and a nunchuck, all three of us, the way we were playing. So we weren't actually playing with the actual Wii remote control. So, but yeah, with the pad.
I think what it is, I think somebody has the pad, and then the rest have normal pads, and so they can tap where they want an extra platform to appear.
There is like a lot of
Super Mario 3D Land.
Might be 3D Land. That's a DS one, though. I think, because there's 3D World and 3D Land, just to confuse things.
Oh, 3D World then. I don't.
But yeah,
I remember it was on the Wii U.
There was a lot of stuff you can do with the Wii U pad. Like there's one level where you can blow onto a remote, and you're on a platform. You start blowing it, blows it up for you, which. Pretty advanced, considering it was out about 10 years ago, probably longer ago than that. But
yeah, it's a show that it had a few problems, and the touchscreen was okay at best, and it was easily hackable. I think that was a big problem.
Yeah, and I think the launch wasn't great. People, because it was called the Wii U, they just thought it was like an extension of the Wii rather than like a whole separate console itself. And then I think Nintendo didn't really stick with it, because they just released the Switch quite soon after, because rather than trying. But there were quite a lot of good titles on the Wii U, which has now been released on the Switch, like Breath of the Wild. That was came out on the Switch at the same time, but it was also Wii U. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which is a very good game. It's also on the Switch. 3D World also went from Wii U to Switch as well. So there are quite a lot of good Switch games that originated from the Wii U. But anyway, I don't want this episode to be turned into a Wii U episode, unless you've got anything you want to add.
A Wii U special. No, I never had one, but yeah. So where we go? News today.
Yeah, I think we touched on this last week, Duncan, and I said last week I wouldn't really want to go over this every week, but there has been quite a big development within the Activision.
Yeah, they've
story.
FTC have lost their appeal to block the merger, haven't they? And then their appeal to them losing the appeal, or the they've lost as well. So I think that's in the American side. I think that's it done now. It's going through. So it is basically just the UK CMA, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much a done
deal
now.
They've turned around, haven't they, and said that they will look at new ways that they are changing the contracts. I think it could mean that there's different things in the UK, but I think I think that's basically the CMA saying, okay, but everybody else had let it through, we'll let it through as well.
We can't be in a situation where we're the only country in the world where we haven't approved, because I don't know how that would work in certain aspects. But.
Well, they did suggest, didn't they, that the pulling out of the UK or pulling the cloud, pulling Xbox Cloud Gaming out to the UK would be an option, which, okay, I think there's lots of people who wouldn't miss that. But for me personally, it works very well on console. So if I want to just try a game or get an Xbox rewards game and I don't want to download a 70 gigabyte game, I could just go and play it instantly.
Yeah.
And through console, it works really well, really well.
Because I had the Series S, so I used to go on their cloud gaming quite, because with the Series S, as you could expect, it doesn't take a lot to take up that space. So you didn't want to be downloading sort of every game you wanted to play. So there was certain games that were just like, I'll play it on the cloud. But yeah, it does look, because initially the FTC were trying to block it, then a judge overruled, then they appealed that, and then a judge has now overruled that appeal. So now in America and the rest of the world, obviously, it does look like, and I did say that last week, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet, but I did say last week it was going to happen. I didn't expect it would be this quickly, that way they would finally get to...
Well, they've got a date, I think the 18th of July, which for us is tomorrow, that they had to complete, otherwise Microsoft had to pay Activision $3 billion. Now, I think that they're probably going to negotiate that, the fact that it is probably going to go through soon after, but it's a bit of a large fine that Microsoft probably don't want to add on to the 69 billion. Or now they're saying 75 billion, so it looks like it's gone up 6 billion somehow. So touch wood, as an end user, it's going through. But
and I already see that
it's not all going to go through tomorrow.
No, there's going to be no change. And they've already sort of struck a deal with Sony in regards to Call of Duty, which I know Activision is a lot bigger than just Call of Duty, but that seems to be the main title that gets brought up in all these sort of, is what's going to happen to Call of Duty. Call of Duty can't be made an exclusive, etc. I know it is the biggest game, but they do, obviously, Activision cover loads of everything, don't they? They got Blizzard as well, and then they got their mobile games as well, which are like Candy Crush comes under Activision, which is quite big in the mobile game.
Exactly, they're probably going to make their money back in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, all those sort of like those games which
everybody buying skins in COD and whatnot.
I don't think it's going to be all doomsday. According to some Sony people out there, that the Sony's going to end up becoming like Nintendo, and they'll just do exclusives and be their own little separate entity or whatever. But if anything, like I said last week, it might actually mean that they focus more on their exclusives and we get more of them, because obviously I'm not just saying it because I own a PlayStation, but I think at this moment in time, out of the main consoles, I think Sony do produce the best exclusives, and that has changed over time. I remember when Xbox used to bring out like Halos and Gears of War, Forza Horizon. I know they still do bring out those titles, but they're not. They don't seem to get the same sort of critical acclaim as like God of War and Horizon and The Last of Us.
I think
Ghost of Tsushima.
I think in the long run, I think everybody will be producing good games, and everybody will have some misfires, like Redfall recently. Although to be honest, I enjoyed that a little bit. I didn't play it massively, but so Sony will keep producing games from like Naughty Dog and other studios that they own. Can't think of the names of them now. And Microsoft have got a lot of new IPs, old IPs, that kind of thing. So I think, to be honest, I think gaming is looking good for everybody.
Yeah. And
if you own everything, all good. If you don't, you'll still be all right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, I don't know, it's a bit rich for PlayStation people to argue about exclusives when you think about the amount of exclusives. I mean, Final Fantasy, which just came out the other week, was an exclusive, wasn't it? So, which I'm sure there'll be some Xbox users who, I'm not a massive fan of the Final Fantasy games like a lot of people are, but I'm sure there are plenty of Xbox players who would have liked to have played Final Fantasy. So, it's.
I liked them when they were turn-based. As soon as they went all action-based, I know you can pause the game as they're fighting and whatnot, but I liked it when it was you picked an attack, they picked an attack, you picked an attack, they picked. I much prefer that because I'm not as fast reaction as I used to be.
Yeah, building up your character and the moves and stuff like that in terms of.
So there has been another a thing today, isn't there? That Xbox are changing Xbox Live Gold to Xbox Game Pass Core or Core Game Pass, and finally they are putting the nail in the coffin of Games with Gold, because Games with Gold has just been embarrassing for the last probably 2-3 years, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had gold. I had because, actually, I probably did when I had the 360, but I didn't have the Xbox One. I went to Series S, and I just had Game Pass. But I would see, because they would say, "Oh, these are the monthly games for Game Pass" on like the different Facebook groups, and here are the gold games. And I used to always look at the gold games and think. There were never. I mean, some months there would be okay games on there, but most of the time you're looking at.
I got them all still.
Yeah, you try them,
but I don't think I've probably tried 1 in 10 over the last couple of years, because most of them have been pretty bad. Although there was one I think a couple of months ago called Hoa, which was quite a short but a little puzzle platformer that was very nice. My 5-year-old enjoyed the music for it as it's very calm piano, so he has that on his Echo in his room at night. Now goes to sleep with it, but generally it's just been embarrassing. And they have what they've replaced Gold with. They've replaced the Core Game Pass. They've sort of done what PlayStation did with the group of games that you had when you got the basic tier and you got or any PlayStation Plus tier, and there'll be a pool of games, about 25 I think they said, and you'll be able to play them as much as you like instead of having 2 free games. So there's things like there's a Forza, there's Dishonored, Doom Eternal, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, things like that. Mostly first-party games. I think there's there's Among Us and a couple of others. Human Fall Flat. So that'd be good, I think.
Yeah, it's just bringing it all under the umbrella of Game Pass, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be a bit of an end of an era, because for me anyway, like I sort of associate Xbox Gold with the start of online gaming. I think they're like the first ones. I know they were like, it was happening before that, but it was the first one where it took it to that level where it was a subscription service. They provided games with it. And it seemed at one point, if you wanted to play online gaming, like people would get Xboxes specifically because of Xbox Gold. over sort of PlayStation or whatever, just because they sort of put in that effort.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who sort of said, "What? You play online? You have to pay to play online?" Because obviously with PC you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Even with the PS2, the network adapter, you just plugged it in and you played online. So there was a lot of doomsayers when it first came out, and yeah, I mean, it became the norm. And PC players still do say nowadays, sort of, why would you pay to play online? Don't know. But yeah,
we get stuff out of it now. Though it's not, because I remember like PlayStation Plus. I know it was only like £50 a year, but that was literally just to play online. But like nowadays, you pay your subscription, but you get the games with it as well, don't you? So see with Game Pass,
they've got rid of their pack of games, haven't they? That you could get with all the PlayStation Plus. I think they ended that in June, something like that. I can't remember, but that was things like God of War and such like. And I think you got them for free as long as you subscribe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. The PlayStation Plus is not on the same level as Game Pass, having both of them, but I'm still pretty sort of happy with what you've got. There is a lot of stuff on. Again, it is a lot better than it was. Because you just don't get day one titles like you do with Game Pass. So, which I feel is probably not going to be something. They seem very reluctant to do that, PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't know.
It devalues their games from what their CEO has said. So
and that is a lot of, obviously they do have a lot of the exclusives that a lot of people want to play, the Horizon games, the God of War and whatnot. And if they get rid of that, with their PlayStation Plus, then people won't. Yeah, people will just subscribe rather than buying. Whereas Microsoft has, they have less first-party games, so so it doesn't really matter if they're giving all their first-party games. Although there are a lot more coming out as they've established.
Through their showcase, they got like Starfield coming out.
Starfield, yay!
Big, see a big anticipated, which I'm sure we'll discuss a bit more in further episodes. But yeah, I mean, after Red 4 and not as much, but Halo Infinite, I know that wasn't received.
Yeah, it's sort of limping along, isn't it?
They need like something in terms of where it's going to get that critically acclaimed. Well, we don't know yet because it's not out yet, but I feel like it can't be a flop for Xbox. Otherwise,
it's going to have some jank to it because it's a Bethesda game. So
that's the game. Wouldn't be
if you want it bug free, don't ever buy a Bethesda game because most of them still are buggy.
Yeah, I can testify to that in terms of my time playing Fallout on release. I've Fallout 72, got that. I had a chat. I decided to get that over Red Dead Redemption 2. I think they're out like pretty much the same time, and it was a wrong decision in hindsight. But
although Fallout 76 is sort of plodding along, is plodding along quite nicely, and I think it's popular enough that they're still adding things to it and whatnot. So
it's still there.
I've tried a few times and haven't really got into it. I think it's another one that's probably good with friends.
I haven't played it with.
I've got no friends.
I think it's enjoyable to play where you build your own little bases and stuff like that. That's I guess what you want to get out of games. But yeah,
those are the only real games, aren't they, that are coming out?
Yeah, I'd say the only sort of games that are coming out this week is Pikmin 4 on the Nintendo Switch. It's coming out on Friday. But yeah, in terms of it's pretty
quiet time in game release.
But I know September and October there are going to be a lot of games coming out, especially October. Looking at October because we've got like new Mortal Kombat coming out, Metal Gear Solid, Baldur's Gate 3.
There's some games that have changed their release dates for because of Starfield. And there's Baldur's Gate, I think, is coming out the week before. Although technically it's already out. It's full release is coming out. Although that again is not on Xbox because of the because of the parity between Xbox Series S and X, and they can't get the co-op to work with the memory available on the Series S. So they're having to either take it out or adjust how it works so it will work on both Xboxes. So it's only coming out on PC and PlayStation at the moment. Xbox people will have to wait.
Yeah, and then Switch people will have to wait for forever.
I think they probably have to wait till Switch 2 for that.
Yeah, but I guess if you're on the Switch, that's your only console, then you're probably used to that sort of stuff because. But they get their own. They get Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, they got Witcher 3 though, so you know.
And potentially Call of Duty's coming up. So we'll see
what happens. That would be funny. Could you imagine if cross-platform play, somebody playing on a Nintendo Switch against somebody playing in 4K on a PC?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, of course, I had so I had Rocket League, and that was on Nintendo Switch, but it is a lot more. I found it a lot more difficult because I played it on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation. I also played it on the gaming laptop as well, and I found because obviously you get your ranking system on Nintendo Switch. I think I got up to about platinum, and then on the PlayStation I got up to low diamond, and then on the laptop I was able to get to like champ sort of division 2. So it seemed like the higher specs, the higher like you were better at the game just because you probably like frames per second and all that. But I know
higher frame rate.
Yeah, but so it'd be interesting to see if it does happen and how
my TV only does 60 frames.
I mean, I've got a gaming monitor.
I've got 4K TV, but it's crappy.
Down to your, it's not down just to your console, is it? It's down to what you're playing it on. Because you could have the best console and have not such a gaming specific gaming monitor or whatever, or a TV that's been made for gaming.
Yeah, I found I was better. I used to years ago play at a desk, my Xbox and my PC, and those. That I used to play on a 27-inch monitor, probably less than 2 foot away from my face. And I did find I was a lot better at games doing that than sitting on the couch. Sitting on the couch, not as good anyway nowadays. Could be just I'm getting old though.
I mean, if I'm playing like a one-player game or like just game on my own, then I don't really mind where I play it. But yeah, if I'm playing competitive, like online or with friends or whatever, then I need to have like the best setup possible. And if I don't, then I just got something to blame on when I inevitably start losing. But
do you get gamer rage?
I do. Yeah, I'm usually quite like a calmish person. I don't get a lot of things. Don't really get wind me up apart from gaming. That's probably the only time where I would say I'm quite competitive, but it is a different level. There are certain games, like there's certain games where I play and if I lose I don't mind because I just know I'm not very good at them, but there's certain games. So Rocket League was one. Like I don't play it as much anymore just because of how annoyed I used to get playing it, and if I would lose, it was never my fault. It was either my teammate if I was playing on in a 2v2, or the other team were just lucky. It was never like it was my fault. So the other game was FIFA. So I used to. Yeah, I was like one of the people like I wouldn't ever go on like a headset or whatever because like. Or I wouldn't say like people would put stuff in the chat and stuff, but I would try not to do that because it's as angry as I would be. even if it was my teammate, I'd be like, well, they're not deliberate. Like, people would have a go at me if I'm playing badly, and I think, like, well, I'm not playing deliberately badly, am I? Like, I'm just here just wanting to enjoy a game, and they're telling me to uninstall the game or delete the game. Why are you so bad? And just like, I'm just trying to play Rocket League on my lunch break.
I used to play Rainbow Six Siege quite a lot. When I had friends who played it a lot. When it first came out, so I paid full price for it. Ooh, blimey. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. And when you're playing it with friends, because we used to mess about a lot. We used to, because, it's a 5v5. So what we'd do, we'd have 4 of us playing. So we'd have one random person. And what you do is you wait until they put a breach charge on a wall. And then just as you hear them pressing the button you all run at the wall and blow, or kill yourself, because it gets them kicked out and banned for a day.
I did not know.
Well, I don't think it's a day, but yeah, you do all things like that. And also, what you could do is, as a defender, you can look at the cameras that are dotted around, and as an attacker, you're meant to shoot the cameras out. So we used to just do like a human centipede. We'd all go prone and go in a line along in front of the cameras outside, because sometimes you'd get people coming out and, like, you'd be the attackers and they'd be the defenders, and they'd come out and they'd start joining you, and you'd all crawl along, and we'd end up inviting people into our parties and whatnot to chat to us and stuff. So yeah, I used to have real good fun with that. But equally, there was the people where when we were trying a bit and we'd won, they'd be like, "Oh, you suck. Oh, you use the shotgun." It's like, yes, and I killed you.
I guess,
but you'd wind them up as well, so that they would swear in a message, so you could just report them and get them banned.
Yeah, I don't get that as much anymore. Like, I used to get people message me on PlayStation. You get like a little pop-up message. You used to, never was a positive thing when you saw that notification come up. So yeah, I had it. Probably the most game where I had that happen was on FIFA, and that was another game with Rocket League. That FIFA and Rocket League were the 2 games where I'd get most sort of frustrated on. But I think FIFA 19 or 18, sort of around that time, and I haven't really played FIFA that much since. But I played it a lot, and I got pretty, not to sort of blow my own trumpet, but I did get pretty good at it, and I sort of went on a 50-game online winning streak. Nice. I think it was like divisions. I ended up in Division 1, which was like the top 5% of the country, I think, was in there. So it was quite sort of high level. But yeah, you'd beat people, and it would be like, X has just messaged you, and I'll be like, oh, I just beat that person, so I'm not expecting a nice never going to be a message of well played, well done, you outplayed me, I'm going to learn from it was always
occasionally in Rainbow Six you get that, but not very often.
Yeah,
occasionally you get a GG.
Yeah, well, on Rocket League, you do get the it's on the part of the quick chat, they do put the GGs in there. So, and yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, like, as bad as I feel like I've got obliged to say it back, even if I've just lost. Well, when people lose and say GG, I'm always like, oh, fair play to them, because like I would never do that usually. Because,
so yes, it was a GG when I killed you or defeated you.
Make them
agree. But yeah, I very rarely play online nowadays, because just yeah, I mean, the toxicity, and not having the time to be good anymore. I used to have the time, when I was playing 30, 40 hours a week, a single game. I had the opportunity to learn the maps, to learn how to be good, but I just don't have the time or the reactions anymore. I just want to have fun.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't go online as much as I used to, but yeah, because I remember like Call of Duty, we'd play that quite a bit online. Now I just don't play Call of Duty at all. But when I have played some of the recent games, when you play on it and you haven't played it before, it is getting used to those maps. Like, if you just don't know the maps, you just don't know where to go. And then when you when you start playing a game, you're like, I know this map, there's a good place where I can camp, which people would hate people doing, but that was how I used to play.
It's a legitimate strategy.
Exactly. If I found a nice little spot and I'd get cozy and comfy, and I know inevitably in the end someone would be like, I'm going to get that kid and throw grenades in there or whatever. But as long as I could get 4 or 5 kills before that happened, then I was happy. I would have friends who would be like gung ho and literally just go running out around the map, getting loads of kills, and I just wasn't able. I didn't have the ability to do that, so I had to make it carefully. I had to play to my own style. And I did sometimes try and like follow him. I'll be like, all right, I'll stick with you. And then within about a minute, I died about 10 times. So I was like, well, I'm going to just now hide in a corner and see if I can kill people, like hiding in this bin. But anyway, Duncan, I feel like we've probably gone on the news. I'm just looking at the time. It's coming up to about 40 minutes.
Yes.
So I don't know if we should skip to on this day. Because it was going to be, I think. So on this day, there's a couple, actually, 3 games I pointed out on this day. 2 of them were, in my opinion, were pretty were classics in terms of. So we'll start with Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, and that came out 20 years ago. On today's date, that was an Xbox. In my opinion, probably one of, if not the
I played
best
that on
game that came out.
I played that on the original Xbox.
Yeah, myself too. Yeah, so I
think it's crazy that nowadays we can play that on our phones. We have such powerful machines in our pockets that we can play games that were on the most powerful consoles of the time. We can now fit in our pockets.
Yeah.
What else was there? There was Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Only 3 years ago, though.
3 years ago today, so that was on the PS4. I don't know if did you have the PS4?
No, I didn't have a PS4. That was a very beautiful looking game. And was it mega hard like the Souls kind of games?
No, it wasn't like a Souls game. Sorry, I just disappeared from the camera for a second there. But no, but it came out similar sort of time to Sekiro, and they were both sort of similar in terms of the Japanese samurais. There were challenging parts on the game, but it was a
very very beautiful looking game.
It was,
especially for PS4.
And it was so I did get that game. It was I know they re-released it on. I think they re-released it on the PS5. So it's
looking
not really much I
beautiful
can
now.
say, but it's a beautiful looking game and a really good game at that as well. So there's a bit of a sad part in it where you're. Actually, I was going to do another spoiler alert, but that is still quite a new game. Give a spoiler alert when considering. I did a spoiler alert earlier on for Super Mario 3D World.
Well, and then another 3 years ago was Paper Mario.
Paper Mario. Never played a Paper Mario game, but I thought I'd put it in there because I know they are quite popular with a lot of users.
They're basically RPGs, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, because
they're basically RPGs. Yeah, they're just.
Yeah, I think they are, but I've never played them, so I wouldn't know. But they are pretty popular.
Hot Shots Golf came out on the PlayStation in Japan 26 years ago, apparently. Which I remember that coming out in the UK. That was a fantastic golf game. That I do like a golf game occasionally. Not like big into them, but they're
don't really get many
good
golf
to relax
games
with occasionally.
Nowadays, do you? But
no, not anymore. Not. I remember
Tiger Woods. I remember
the Tiger Woods games, the PGA back on the Mega Drive, where even back on the Mega Drive, you were like, "Wow, it's almost photorealistic," and you look back at it now and think, "Nope." Nope, no, it was not.
There are some games where you're like, I remember like the N64 when that first came out, and you're like, God, could it get any more realistic than this? Like playing WrestleMania or GoldenEye or whatever, and you think like, I'm actually playing the, like watching the film.
I feel like I'm actually the person. When Mortal Kombat came out, and we were, it was like, well, it's actually pictures of people. It can't get any better than that.
Wow, what we
so
now here we are, 2023.
So that's it.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah,
so
we're in a bit of a smoother episode. That.
Yeah, we're at 45-ish minutes kind of thing. So, yeah. Well, there you are. Episode 2.
Episode 2, yeah. Well, as we said last week, thank you. If you have watched, thank you. Hopefully it was an enjoyable listen. I say watch or listen, depends on how you're...
Yes, you can watch it on YouTube or find us on all your podcast providers, which I think some of them are still appearing on there. But we are on most of them, I promise. I have found the pages. As they come up, I may put links up to individual pages on the website. So like Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, that kind of thing. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, YouTube. I can't think of others.
I think that's probably it. I mean, we're even on Threads. That's only just come out, wasn't it, really? So
yes, we're already on there. I don't think we posted anything on there yet, though.
Ahead of the times, but yeah, give us a if you have liked it, give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, which all will help. Comment as well on any of our posts.
I've been putting some shorts up, and
I have, I saw your chicken dance on the.
Yeah, that was with some friends, and we just kept doing the chicken dance every 5 minutes kind of thing. But that is how seriously we generally take games. Just don't bother actually trying to win. Well, no, we did try to win, and we did win a few times, but we weren't that bothered if we died, especially if we do the chicken dance. Exactly. There is also a lobster dance where you do this. And
I mean, they wouldn't put the emotes on there. They didn't want you to dance, would they? So.
But it was fantastic game. Again, fantastic with friends, with randoms. They just want you to try really hard.
I know.
And that's not me.
Imagine trying on a game. Anyway, Duncan, till next week.
Yep, till next week.
Call it. But yeah, thank you for listening. Like we said, check all our socials, like all that malarkey, subscribe, etc.
Indeed.
And we'll see you next week. Have a good week, Duncan.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.